going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We got a tough one. We got a tough one to talk about. And I put out a call earlier this week to see if I can get some corporate America, some people who are versed and knowledgeable and experienced in corporate America to jump on this live and speak on it. We are talking about code switching tonight. So everybody tuning in, we're talking about code switching. If you're not familiar with the word code switching, I'm going to jump into it in a second. But basically, there are ways to maneuver and ways that we, especially we as African American people, have to maneuver in corporate America to fit in. It's so many different reasons why people do what they do. And that's why I wanted some corporate people to jump on this live, because I've been self-employed for a long time. And just being honest, I've been out of the corporate sector so long that I would like someone with experience to speak on it. But I do have some experience in it, and I do have some insight that I studied that I think will help all of us, kind of get to the root of some things. But in corporate America, there are some certain things that we have to do to fit in, certain ways that we speak, certain ways that we dress, certain ways that we act, even all the way down to hairstyles. As African Americans, certain hairstyles are deemed acceptable. Certain haircuts, beards are deemed acceptable, and some are not. Speaking to my clients, I have a lot of male clients who come to me for haircuts, beard trims and things of that nature, who are in corporate America, and they even place their order when they're coming in to get a haircut. They even place their order to tailor to their position, if that makes sense. They place their order to fit into that corporate, scene or that corporate scenario. And there's no judgment to my corporate people out there. We all have to provide and take care of ourselves, take care of our families. Some of us, went to school, got degrees in certain things and in certain areas that are very, very important to us as individuals. So no knock to my corporate America people out there. This is not the type of live to discredit that. This live is to shed light to, I think, a bigger topic, which is sometimes people code switch, meaning you're one way in one arena and you're totally different in another arena. You're one way with your friends, you're one way with your family, you're one way with your boys, you're one way with your girls, and then you're a whole different way when you get to work, when you get on the job. So that's what we're talking about today. What's going on? What's up? If you're just tuning in, we're talking about code switching. Have you ever code switched? Did you code switch without knowing that you were operating in that space? So what is code switching? Let me just read the definition. Let me just break it down. What is code switching? Code switching is the ways in which a member of an unrepresented group consciously or unconsciously adjust their language, syntax, grammatical structure, behavior, and appearance to fit in a dominant culture. I'll read it again. Code switching is the ways in which a member of an unrepresented group consciously or unconsciously adjust their language, syntax, grammatical structure, behavior, and appearance to fit into the dominant culture. Now, by me reading that, again, I'm asking, have you ever found yourself in a position to where you had to use this mechanism to operate or to further your career in corporate America. Again, we talked about there are many hairstyles that may be deemed acceptable in corporate America, and there are hairstyles that may seem unfit for corporate America. Where does that come from? Where who drew those lines? Who set those rules up? And why are those rules still in place? I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Crown Act. The Crown Act is something that they've been trying to pass nationwide. That basically, I'm paraphrasing, but basically, it's the ban of discrimination against people and their natural hair. So you cannot discriminate on the job. You cannot discriminate against someone and their natural hair and how their hair grows out their head and the styles that they wish to wear. That is the Crown Act, and in a paraphrase way. And they're trying to get this passed. Even in 2023, they're trying to get this passed. I think the only place that I heard that it is passed is California. But I'm gonna have to check my resources on that. But that's the Crown Act. Now, you may be saying, why do we need a Crown Act? Because it stems from, generations ago of racism, of discrimination, of Jim Crow, of slavery. There were so many things in place that made the African American culture, not only strip the African American culture, but made our culture, villainized our culture and demonized our culture. Not only our culture, but our features. So if you had a big nose, that was demonized. If you had big lips, that was demonized. If you had, quote unquote, what they call nappy hair, which there's no such thing as nappy hair. There's coarse, thin, straight, curly. But if you had coarse hair, that was demonized. It was called nappy. And so there were certain things about us as a people that were villainized and demonized. And because of that, it carried over into the workforce. It carried over into corporate America. And so you had to tailor yourself to fit in the jobs that you wanted. You had to tailor yourself to fit in the positions that you wanted. If you wanted a higher position, if you wanted a seat at the table, if you wanted to make moves or be a part of a board or management, you had to fit a certain criteria. And it started with your features. It started with your looks, whether, your hair was what they presented, what they thought was, presentable, or your beard or how you dress. For our ladies, if your hair was straightened, if it was curly, if it was, in its natural state. Some of these things are still happening today with appearance. That's the first level of it, is just basic appearance. What's going on, everybody? If you're just tuning in, we're talking about corporate America. And please, if anyone is listening to my voice right now and you are in corporate America, you are Black in corporate America, and you know this topic oh so well, please hit that plus button. I will pull you up so you can speak on it. But code switching is the next level. So the first level is appearance. Okay, they might not accept my beard, so let me shave my beard off. And let me just keep a smooth face, because that may be intimidating to them. And I want to get this position. I want to, climb the corporate ladder, as they would say. So I'm going to do what it takes, and again, there's no judgment. Hats off to all the people out there who just got it. If you got to get it done, get it done. But at the same time, don't lose your integrity. Don't lose who you are just to fit in some of these circles. But we're going to get to that later. So the first level is appearance. The second level is how you act, how you move, how you speak, how you talk. Some of us do it and we don't even realize that we do it. Have you ever answered the phone at work and you have a script? You have a script that you say at work in a tone or a manner that is not your natural tone and your natural way of speaking. Let's be honest. Have you ever answered the phone? Do I have to make an example? Do I have to do an example? Okay, let's see. So I'm talking to y'all regular, like, this is how I talk. This is how I talk. But have you ever answered the phone and, hello, Carlton and Associates? Have you ever put on a voice that wasn't your natural voice and it wasn't the normal way that you speak? And that is code switching. Now, I understand that there are things in place in this society still to this day that, for example, I'll put it to you like this. I saw an article about a black couple with a home, and they were getting an appraisal on their home. And when they had their pictures up, when they went through the normal appraisal process, they got a certain number that was way lower than they wanted for their home. When they were selling their home, they got a certain number. But when they took all their pictures down and concealed the fact that they were African American, and they went through the appraisal process again, they got a much higher number for their home, price range for their home. And so things like that are still in play in this country. And it's crazy and it's sad. And it makes you wonder, when are things going to change? When will people finally accept people for who they are and not just based off skin color? It's still a major hurdle for this country and for a lot of people in this world to get over skin color. They can't. It's just a stumbling block that just they won't allow to. They allow that to get in their way. I've been trained to adapt to life's ups and downs, so I guess I have, but not necessarily doing it because I want to fit in. I've gotten more opportunities being myself than fitting in. That's good. That's good. I'm not in corporate though. Yep, it happens often. Thank you for your comments. Yeah, code switching happens a lot, man. We do it sometimes unconsciously. When I read the definition earlier, code switching is the ways in which a member of an unrepresented group consciously or unconsciously adjust their language, syntax, grammatical structure, behavior, and appearance to fit into a dominant culture. Sometimes we do things unconsciously, and you have to take a step back. Oh my God, let's go. Yes, sir. People.
My God.
Talk to him, man. Talk to him.
Listen, I'm sitting here, trying to get a little bit more light. You know, I'm dark skinned in real life.
Hey.
Yeah, man.
Put me both, brother. You and me both.
Yeah, that whole code switching thing. I'm definitely in corporate America, man. I've been in corporate America for quite some time. I've been actually working for the state of Missouri for about 10 years, and before that, I was a banker. So, a whole lot of corporate America, man. And that code switching thing, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know the term for that until actually watching the video. But that's a real thing. I'm currently in a situation where all of my coworkers, everybody that's around me, is of a different skin color. As a matter of fact, I'm the only male in the team that I'm on, and everybody is of a different skin color. So, you know,
Oh wow.
the
Yeah.
code switching is real, man. I find myself using different vernacular at times that I wouldn't normally
Yeah.
use. And uh, if I'm being honest, at times it's for the sake of not necessarily fitting in, but attempting not to offend those that are around me. Uh,
Okay.
like a big,
Okay.
well, I mean, I know we boys, we talk, and I drop an N
Yeah.
bomb, I drop a, you know what I'm saying? Like even when I talk to you, my G, this, and that, or whatever, there's certain things that I just cannot say amongst this group of people because they don't even
Right.
understand from whence it comes. It's certain things,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's even say certain words like I'll say, man, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And they are like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Huh? That's what? What's dope? What is that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're completely confused, or they assuming that it is something that they're taking the literal meaning of it. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to sum it all up, man, what you saying is 100% true. It's 100% true, and it's something that we do unknowingly, not even realizing a lot of times, man. And it's so easy to do, but you know, I feel like in a lot of cases that the world is set up for it to almost be that way in certain situations because we cannot. Um, they're not interested in us advancing past certain levels without being in some form um, in without conforming to a particular thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
just it's instances that we all know of, we all on the internet, so on and so forth. It's instances where they don't even like the way that our hair grows out of our head normally. You know what I'm saying? They
Which is
can't deal with how our
in,
hair actually grows out of our head. So, you know, for me to talk a particular type of way or to talk how I talk, you know what I'm saying, when I'm talking to my partners, my homies, this and that, no way they're gonna be able to handle that. So
right.
yeah, man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you that. If you were to fully be yourself, explain to the people, explain to me, how would that be beneficial or detrimental to your position
Um
right now?
fully be myself.
Okay, fully be yourself, not necessarily uh, any
Yeah, yeah.
derogatory, terms or anything, but just who said being yourself. Would they still accept you, be cool with it, or would it be kind of
Uh
detrimental to your
so
position?
honestly, man, I I I believe that, you know, with the help of God, favor of God, and um, really who I have been as far as being myself, um, has helped to
Mm-hmm.
get me in certain doors that I've gotten in. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I hate to say that that may or may not be the case for other people, because I know
Mm-hmm.
certain situations that, you know, that just wouldn't necessarily work. But for me, I can
Right.
say I can say that there are certain doors that have opened up in, you know, certain relationships, certain elbows I've been able to rub, you know, with people and certain so on and
Mm-hmm.
so forth by me being who I am. I was just having a
Yeah.
conversation with a friend earlier um, about my understanding that at the end of the day, in these corporate settings, these people are people just like I'm a person. It doesn't matter what your
Yeah.
title is, it doesn't matter what your position is. Although I respect it, at the end of the day, we are both human. So I'm gonna treat you like a human, you treat me like a human, and it's worked for me to this point. So you know,
Mm-hmm.
I pray that that could be somebody else's story too, but you know, that's what it's been as far as mine is concerned. Yeah.
Right. It's been a favor play, and God really ordering and
Yeah,
directing your
absolutely. Absolutely.
path. So
Absolutely.
that's what's
Yeah.
up. Yeah, man. It's I get certain topics that hit me. You know me. You know how random I am. Because I think we both, kind of similar in that, where we think deeply about certain things, but my direction has been toward things that
Mm-hmm.
seem off, uh, and how can we kind of get free from some certain things. I know some things we have to do to, make it better for the next generation, or make it better for those coming behind us. And I get that, because,
Mm-hmm.
granddad done it, grandma done it, dad, mom done it. So we're going to continue to push
Mm-hmm.
the lines forward. But sometimes I kind of question myself, or just question, like, can we just be free of certain
Yeah.
things? You get what I'm saying? Like, just can we just, not hold on so heavy to some of the things that they kind of, I feel like, this is just me personally, I feel like some things they
Mm-hmm.
dangle in front of
Mm-hmm.
us, if that, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
this, and it's like, man, and sometimes you're like, man, I do need that, but can I be free from that? Can I not bow to the altar of that thing, and find my own? Just going off the top of my head, not saying we need to break away from corporate America, but just finding a new
I mean,
thing.
in on one hand, what you to say that we need to break away from corporate America is almost true to an extent, because we uh breaking away from corporate America is, in my opinion, is not 100% becoming an entrepreneur. Um, you can,
Mm-hmm.
do that, become an entrepreneur or whatnot, but I mean, I don't want to turn into a super pro black guy right now, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there are so many instances, man, where we have our people in places of authority. You know what I'm saying? In some of those same places and spaces or whatnot, that other races or whatnot are in those same races that cause us to conform, and we're not supporting them, or we're not reaching to those people, or we're not being employed by those people, or we're not, you know what I'm saying, we're not in those spaces. And I believe that in those spaces, the code switching slows down, because they
Mm.
understand the culture. You know what I'm saying? They understand when we talk in
Yeah.
this particular way, or we doing this particular thing, and it's okay that our hair grow out of our head the way that it grow out of our head. You know what I'm saying? When we in those spaces. So I just think, man, getting to a place, and it takes time. It's gonna take a lot of time, but getting to a place where we are our own and we have our own. You know what I'm saying? And these, like I
Mm-hmm.
say, I was working for PNC Bank, man, and at at PNC Bank it was um mandatory for certain things to be, because that's PNC policy or whatnot. If we happen to be at a
Yeah.
bank that
Yeah.
is black owned, that understands our culture or understands something more about us, it may not be that way. So, you know what I'm saying? I definitely think that it's
Mm-hmm.
possible. And like I say, breaking away from corporate America totally may not be the thing, but we can also be corporate America. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's just my thoughts, man.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. Man, I appreciate it. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I appreciate it, man. I needed that
Yes,
that
sir, man.
half
I'm
of it.
I'm gonna get out of here. Holler at me, my G.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All the way in the loop,
yes, sir.
man. Say it. Thank
All right, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Good friend of mine said, jumping in on the live, speaking on his experience in corporate America and some of the remedies, some of the possibilities that are out there. That's just how I think, man. I just think about all the possibilities. Um, how can we overcome some hurdles and that we personally, not personally but professionally, we face sometimes, and it's not an easy answer. It's not a easy quick fix. I said it earlier, that each generation, I think, pushes the line forward, pushes the culture forward, push our people forward. And we're going to continue to do that. There are certain things that I will see in my lifetime, and there's certain things I won't see in my lifetime. But if I can do my part to push the culture forward, to push our people forward, to push our nation forward, I'm going to do my part. Even if it's a little bitty small part, I'm going to do my part to push the culture forward. But yeah, code switching. Do you speak a certain way? Do you act a certain way when you get into corporate scenes that you don't necessarily do when you are in your comfortable or around your friends? And I get it. There is such thing as, I'm comfortable, I'm at home, I can be and speak however I want to speak, but it don't fit in the boardroom. It just don't fit in the boardroom, and that's cool. Me kicking it with my boys and how we talk and we eating chicken and at the watching the game at some sports bar or something like that. How we talk, it does not fit in corporate settings. It just don't. It just does not fit, and that's not a racial thing. That's just a professional standpoint. You can be professional, you can be comfortable. And that's cool. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm specifically talking about you becoming someone else. Your whole way of acting, your whole way of being, your whole way of speaking, your way of dressing, the way you do your hair, everything that you do kind of goes into a direction of to fit in to what they have going on. All Jay, all day. Let's get it. Yeah,
Hey,
what's up, Jay?
how you doing?
What's going on?
Good.
I'm
I'm
good.
great.
How you doing? I see you
Off
at, what's that? Off
55.
what's the name of your bar? This
Yes,
spot. Off
yes. We stay
55.
alive.
Ooh,
Yeah, we're quiet right
y'all
now
stay
though.
live. That's y'all. Yeah, I stay live
How
too.
you
I stay
been?
live too.
Good, good.
I've been good. I've been real good.
So, on the subject of code switching, I come from a corporate
Yes, ma'am.
background. I did 25 years in a management role with a company I won't mention. Um, But within that time frame, I was often thrown into situations where I was an only. I was either an only
Mm-hmm.
female, the only black, or both, the only female and the only black representation on certain levels
Mm-hmm.
and in certain rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily like to think of it as code switching. I think it's more of a communication technique. Um, some of the
Mm-hmm.
slang that we use amongst ourselves is not common knowledge to certain demographics. That can be an age
Yeah.
demographic, that can be a racial demographic, it can be just where you grew up and who you grew up around. Because there was certain slang
Right.
that
Right.
was only used in my neighborhood that I grew up in. So you could be a Black individual that's my age and still not understand the lingo that we were using, because it was concentrated to our neighborhood and something that we understood. So being in situations where I'm often the only communication was important, and representation, because I didn't choose it, but I'm representing us because that's the role that I
Yeah.
was thrown into. And I couldn't disappoint us. I didn't want to make us look bad. I did not want to play into any stereotypes or any preconceived notions that they already had in their heads when it comes to us. Professionally, I went by the name Jay Towns. My actual name is more ethnic. And I did not want to be prejudged walking into a room without you hearing a word that I have to say, without you knowing whether or not I have teeth in my mouth. You know, I didn't want to be prejudged. So I went by that professionally, and it gave me a little anonymity to where they didn't, when I would get transferred to a different location, they didn't know if I was male or female, white or Black. And that was great because you don't have any preconceived notions. You just have to get to know me as a person and understand that I know how to do my job. But that's often a burden. I looked at it as a burden sometimes because it's not something I chose to be. They love committees where we would be selected. People in rooms that we were not in would select who they wanted to be on a committee and why. Now, of course, we're not privy to the conversations of the why, but oftentimes I would get communication that I've been asked to be a part of this committee. And when I look at all the other names on the committee, none of them look like me. None, you know? And it's like, okay, do I take on the role of, oh, I'm sick of this, I'm sick of being a token, so to speak, or do I take this opportunity to educate and debunk certain preconceived notions and prejudices that people have? And I always chose to do the latter because ignorance is what it is until you gain knowledge, but you have to want to be knowledgeable about something. You can't clump a whole race of people together based on what you saw on television or what you see on the news. So it was kind of a burden at times, but then I looked at it also, not to get churchy, but to whom much is given, much is required. So that was the, that was the way I took it. And I took every opportunity to debunk something else, and then we got into equity and inclusion type, diversity and that type of training, which to most of the people that were not of our color, a lot of things that they're hearing in this class, they were just blown away by. And the people that look like me, the brown people, were like, yeah, have you been under a rock? But they have been, because they have not been forced to see it any other way, because the world is geared towards them. It was designed by them. So until they're put in a situation where they have to open their eyes and learn a different way, or get rid of things that they may have been taught as a kid, they don't. And it's unfortunate because we're behind the eight ball on a lot of things. We're just behind, we're behind on the eight ball, but it's.
How are you now? Being away from, I'm talking about like your mental state, your spiritual state, your peace of mind. How are you now being away from corporate America?
It's a breath of fresh air. The lessons learned could not have been taught in a university. I will say that. It's real life. You're dealing with real life things, people, their idiosyncrasies, just different walks of life. And I think that as a person of color, I think I was more successful in the manager's role that I had because I was able to see people for people and understand that
Mm-hmm.
everybody didn't grow up a particular way. Um, and I think that's why I think the biggest compliment I had was one of my former teammates that worked under me told me that he's the manager he is today because of how
Mm-hmm.
I treated them. I treated them as people. And that was something
Right.
that I knew to do second nature. You treat people the way you want to be treated, but you also have to understand that everybody is not as fortunate as other people may seem. And that was hard for a lot of Caucasian people to understand that were in manager roles, that everybody's not growing up in a two-parent household and they're not working here just so they can have spending money on the weekend. They're actually working to help pay bills in the household and to help put food on the table and to make sure the lights don't get cut off. And that was something that once I broke that down for a couple of managers, it's like their head just exploded. They could not grasp that. But that shows you how far out of touch certain people are to reality. So code switching, no. Speaking with proper grammar, yeah, I can do that. And it's all, to me, it's all a part of communicating and being understood. Um, and it's something that I hate. I used to hate giving presentations. It made me so nervous. But the more they called upon me to do it, the more I understood that this is a perfect opportunity to get something out there that they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But what I hate
Mm-hmm.
is when something is made clear to you and you still choose not to see it. Then that's where, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's not my battle. That's not my course in life. Um, and I don't excuse me. I didn't want to be the person that speak on behalf of the Black coalition, but oftentimes I was speaking on behalf of the Black coalition. Um, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it translates to everyday life, but excuse me, we were raised to speak clearly, to be understood, use proper grammar when you're taking care of business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I get you. Get
I
you
know. Look,
some water,
I'm
bro.
getting some
Some
water
water.
now. Um,
Over there rolling and
look, okay,
beef
look, I'm
and
better.
speaking.
No, my kids used to call it my phone voice. Oh, she's on the phone. She's taking care of business. Because it's a certain way you talk when you're chilling with your
Right.
homegirls and, girl, but you're not going to talk to a business person and be like, girl, it's inappropriate. So I think it's just more or less,
Right.
even
Right.
when I'm dealing with a person of color in a business setting, there's still a
Yeah.
business way that I
Yeah.
speak because there's a time and a place for everything. And that's biblical too.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for
Right.
everything, and it's you conduct yourself in the office the way you wouldn't conduct yourself at a happy hour. And I've seen that because we always had some type of corporate event, and the most
Mm-hmm.
rigid person in a work setting is the person that cuts loose when the beer is flowing, and so it goes for for different races as well. I think it's just the amount of professionalism. um it's just a not a code of ethics. I won't go that far, but it's just professionalism. You conduct yourself one way in the workplace,
Yeah.
and when you're outside of the workplace, you conduct yourself a certain way. But there's still levels to that because we had outside events that were still corporately sponsored. So you still
Mm-hmm.
couldn't go buck wild. You could go buck mild, but it would be frowned upon to go
Mm-hmm.
buck wild because this is something that's still being paid for by the company. There's still big bosses here. You can
Yeah.
still do
Yeah.
a considerable amount of damage to your reputation as to how you conduct yourself in this
Mm-hmm.
social setting, but it is a work social setting. So again, there's levels. Work social setting, a social setting, it's just so many different levels to it. And a lot of people, I saw people really get
Right.
in trouble going buck wild. And it was people, not like me, but people of the opposite race. That they didn't, I mean, they just, woo,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of, and it's like, no, you do realize that one of the head of the company is here. And
He right there
watching
by
you
the
and
potato
know who
salad.
you are. Like, so I think it's just appropriateness, a time and a place. And it's levels to the time and the place still. Um, I think that's just really what it is because even even in this setting that I'm in now, there's still a certain level of professionalism that I'm going to exude and exhibit. But there's still, it's
Mm-hmm.
more of a relaxed professionalism because this is a social setting. Even though it's still business, it's very social. So again, it's still levels to it, and it's still things that I want to say that I won't say, but I want to say it. But
Mm-hmm.
again, you have to maintain a
Mm-hmm.
level of professionalism because it's still a work setting. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much my little tidbit.
Cool, cool. I appreciate you keeping it 1,000 with us and
No
sharing
problem.
your
No
experience.
problem.
Thank, thank. Enjoy the rest of your bar
The
55.
shenanigans are about to ensue.
Y'all.
This is the quiet before the storm. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, y'all.
So yeah. See you when you're back
Okay.
in town.
I,
Alrighty.
yes, yes. You will. All right.
I don't know how to
I don't even know
disconnect.
how you do this.
Look, I'm trying to disconnect. Let me log off and then get back on.
Okay. Cool, cool. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Are you free to be yourself in corporate America? Are you free to be yourself in corporate America? And I appreciate Jay bringing out that sometimes it's levels to it. You know, it's such thing as chilling, kicking back with your people, and it's such thing as being professional. Um, it's certain things you just cannot say in a professional setting. Uh, we've seen comedies, we've seen movies where somebody come in the boardroom. What up, my G? What up, my dog? You can't really do that. You can't really do that because it just don't fit. It just don't fit. But we have to recognize some of the things that we do uh, um, without even knowing. Some things that we have been conditioned to do, or some things that we've been conditioned to be, that's not authentic to who we are. Whew, man, put that on the t-shirt. Sometimes we've been conditioned to be certain things that's not genuine to. I forgot how. I'm gonna have to rewind the tape so I can get it because I need that on the t-shirt. But yeah, y'all get what I'm saying. But yeah, are you free to be yourself? You must be careful. Let me put this out there. Let me put this out there. Let me put this out there to my people. You must be careful when you are in professional settings, even if you're working for yourself. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been self-employed for a long time, and there's still certain things that I still have to uh, uphold. I have to uphold my integrity in even the self-employed space, even in the entrepreneur space, because you're still being viewed, you're still being watched before someone thinks to purchase with you, before someone thinks to do business with you. You're still being examined, is the word. And so if I'm living any kind of way, if my presentation is any kind of way, and I'm a barber. I'm a barber and a barber instructor. So if my presentation is any kind of way, and my smell, my scent is any kind of way, and my speech is any kind of way, and I'm talking reckless, certain people from certain backgrounds, from certain demographics will not shop with me, will not do business with me, because for several reasons, because they don't want to smell someone who smells like that. They don't want to have a conversation with someone who talks like that. They don't want to feel that they're not comfortable or not welcome to do business with me. So it's again, it's levels to it. It's levels to it. So be understanding and be careful in the arenas that you're in, whether it's corporate America, whether it's self-employed, whether it's entrepreneur, whatever place you find yourself. You want to get into those spaces and make a difference. You want to climb those ladders. You want to make an impact for yourself, for your family, for your finances. You want to do great things that could take you to the next level and the next level and the next level. And you can be the stumbling block that's in your way. You can be the reason why you didn't, get that promotion or get that next opportunity that presented itself. It could very well be you, and you don't even know it. So be careful. Be careful of that. But yeah, code switching. Some said, I don't think it's necessarily code switching. I think it's levels to it. I think it's levels to it. And some say that code switching thing, it happens. It happens. Welcome to AT&T. Whatever circle, whatever environment you find yourself in, and in the break room, we talking and we chopping it up. But let one of the managers walk in. Let one of the CEOs walk in. Let one of the head people walk in. Will that conversation, with the tone of that conversation, switch? With the style of how you speak, switch? And why? Why is that still in 2023? Why is that still a thing? Have you straightened your hair? For my ladies out there, have you straightened your hair because you know, or even wore a wig where the wig was straight, because if you rock your natural style, it's not going to be accepted. It's not going to be received in the spaces that you are occupying, in the business spaces that you are occupying. Have you straightened your hair? Have you, for my guys out there, and true story, I was cutting a Caucasian guy one time, and he was looking at my beard, and he said, "Man, your beard is, you have a really nice full beard, and that's pretty cool, man. I can't grow a full beard." He said, "Well, I can grow a full beard, but I always cut it because of my job." And I said, "Please tell me more. Why do you cut your beard because of your job?" He said, "I'm gonna be honest with you." And this is from a Caucasian man himself. This is out of his mouth. Now, I don't know if this is true, so don't go running away saying Carlton said. No. It was one of my clients who I was cutting for a long time, and I trust what he says. And he was a white guy, and he said that in my community, with white people, with us, we deem beards as a I'm trying to remember exactly how he said it. He said it's like a way to cover up something. It's like you're hiding something. I said, "What?" I said, "Run that back." He said, "We view beards like you're hiding something, like you're covering something up. And when we see beards, we think of certain things that are not positive. We think maybe they're into crime, may have been in prison, they start thinking of all these negative things when they see a beard represented. And it's crazy because me being an instructor, I teach barbering. I teach barbering, and we get into theory in our barbering class. And in one of our chapters, chapter 1, it gets into the history of barbering and where barbering originated and where beards originated. And a lot of those things originated in cultures where a beard was a symbol of wisdom. A beard was a symbol of like you had congressmen and men of leadership wore beards in those times. And to see how far removed we are from certain cultures today, it's just mind blowing that y'all see something negative with a beard. That he's like, yeah, a clean shave, a clean face represents, you know, you're a man of your word and you're professional and this, that, and the third. And he was just going on and on. And I had to tell him, I had to keep it 100. I said, you know, that sounds ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm not in corporate America. So no judgment, but that sounds ridiculous to me, you know. But yeah, he told me a beard represents in their culture that you're hiding something, or they think negative thoughts when they see a man with a full beard. I'm like, man, that's crazy. What do y'all think about Santa Claus? What do y'all think about, you know? But I digress. But yeah, man, when you get into certain cultures and certain ways of life and society, they all come from a place and a thought and a prejudice against a people or a culture or a race. And if we're not careful, the whole point of this live is this point. If we're not careful, we will fall into these ideas, and we think that it's right, or it's the right way, or this is the way it should be. That's all I'm saying. If we're not careful, we will adopt certain things that should be destroyed, that should be dismantled. Do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes we adopt certain things that should be dismantled, should be torn down. I'm not talking about corporate America. I'm not talking about being professional. We should always be professional. We should always live our lives with integrity and character, and put our best foot forward, and walk into a room like we own it, like we want better things, and we know, and we're knowledgeable, and we have sense. Always walk into those spaces and own those spaces, and let people know that you're there and you know what you're talking about, and you're ready for the job, and you're ready for the position, and you're ready for business. Always do that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about certain things that are rooted in a discriminatory, racist, hateful background. It comes from these places. I gotta hurry up with this live because my battery's gonna die soon. But there's certain things that come from a place of hate, a place of discrimination, that if we're not careful, we'll adopt these things and as if this is normal life, and it's not normal life. It's not. It's not. Please be free. Please open your eyes, wake up. And I ain't talking about being woke. I'm not talking about being woke, because some people who so woke, they need to take a nap. I promise you, they need to take a nap. They need some rest. Y'all need some rest out there for y'all woke people. I love y'all. Much respect, but some of y'all need some rest. I'm not talking about woke. I'm talking about opening your eyes and recognizing first the things that you do. You know, the things that I do. I have to recognize, man, why did I do this a certain kind of way? Why did my tone of my voice go up higher when these people walked in the room, when I was just talking at a medium low tone before they came in? Why am I doing these certain things, you know, trying to am I trying to be successful? Am I trying to climb the ladder? Am I trying to be accepted? And be accepted in what? Ask yourself that question. Have you ever been in a circle and you were doing things to be accepted, but you didn't even know? Ask yourself that question. Accepted for what? What was the acceptance that you so needed? And if it's success, you do know that success comes from God, that your blessings and favor upon your life comes from God and is within your purpose. So there's nobody on this earth that can give you position, that can give you favor, that can give you blessings. Nobody on this earth can make a way for you that you can't make for yourself. Trust and believe. Anything that you want out of this life, you can have it, you can get it if you work hard and be determined and stay the course and don't give up. You can have what you want to have. They can dangle what you want in front of you. They can dangle those things that you think I just gotta have it. They can do you like this, and you can go for the bait. You can you can go for it and fit into the mold that they want you to fit in, or you can walk in your true self and your true purpose and make a huge impact in this world for generations to come. But that's just a thought. That's just a thought. It's just me thinking out loud. Like, it's up to you. It's up to you and what you want to do and how far you want to take whatever it is that you do. I know it's a lot of entrepreneurs that follow me. I know it's a lot of self-employed men and women, that follow me. And you might be saying, I'm not really looking to be in corporate America anymore. I'm cool on corporate America. And that's cool, nothing wrong with that. But there are some people that are going to hear this live. There are some people who joined this live that have experienced corporate America or are still in corporate America. And I think it's important that even if we're in those rooms, we have to know how to move, and we have to know how to be wise in our dealings, wise in our business, business acumen, and just how we move. We have to be wise. We have to be wise. It would be foolish of us to say, you know what, I'm just gonna come in there and they just gotta accept me for however I roll up in that mug. You know what I'm saying? They just gonna have to take this however it's gonna come. That would be foolish to have that kind of mindset. If you want better things for your life, if you want better things for your family, if you want to climb certain ladders and get to certain places in life, you have to know the environment, and you have to know how to play the position like a orchestra. You got to be able to play the position so skillfully that now you're undeniable. You're undeniable. No one can stop you. No one can stop your favor. No one can stop your blessings, because you're well knowledge. You have so much knowledge. You're wise in your movements. You know the company. You know the business. You know the ins and outs. Sometimes you make the company or the business go further than anyone else can. You are the oil and the mechanics of the machine that's making that thing go. So if you are that person, if you are that type of person that says, whatever I do, I make it pop. Whatever I get into, I make it go. Whatever I get into, I take it to another level and another level and another level. And I just keep elevating that thing, even if it's not even my thing, even if it's someone else's thing. I get in there, I learn it, I study, I research, I make a difference, I make a change, and I make that machine move. If you're that type of person that make things move and shape, no matter what it is that you do, you have to be wise. You have to be wise in how you move. Because yes, you can make the wrong step and fall in a hole. You can make the wrong step or make a step out of season that will be detrimental to everything that you were trying to build up. So be smart, be wise. This is both my corporate America people and my self-employed people. You have to be smart and know that there's levels to everything. There's levels. There's levels. We're not bringing the ghetto to the boardroom. We're not bringing the hood to the Zoom meetings. We're not. We're not. Because it just don't fit. It don't fit. But by all means, always, if you don't take anything from this live, always be yourself. Period. Always be yourself. I promise you, if you be yourself, the spaces that you're supposed to be in and the places that you're supposed to be in and the people that you're supposed to be around will find you, or you'll find them if you be yourself. But again, know that there's levels to everything. There's levels to everything. Just know that. Just know that. It's your man C. I appreciate y'all joining in the live. Code switching. Do you code switch? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Doesn't matter what you think. It matters what you do and how you do it. And hopefully you're doing it to the best of your abilities and you're not compromising your integrity and who you are. All right? It's your man C. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for jumping in on the live. I thank my guests. Earlier I had Cederick King, my homie, my guy from back home, said from corporate America. He jumped on. He gave us some insight. He said some really, really, really dope stuff, some really good stuff. So I appreciate him for jumping on the live. I appreciate Jay from All 55 in St. Louis. She jumped on while she was in her bar, business owner. She has her own bar. I think it's like a bar grill type situation. Jay jumped on the live, did her thing, gave us some insight from her being in corporate America and now not being in corporate America, which is really good. So I appreciate her for jumping in on the live. If you ever want to jump in on these conversations, this is a space for you to do so. This is not for me to just talk. This is for me to have great conversations with brilliant individuals like you and I, and so we can chop up some real discussions that some places, some people not even talking about. We all seen those podcasts, we all see those Instagrams and those Facebooks and YouTubes where all they can talk about is men against women. Why men won't do this, why women won't do that. Or they talk about race, white and black. This one against that one. That one. No. This space is for brilliant, forward-thinking individuals to chop up real topics that we need to grow from, that we need to expand, that we need to, things that we need to talk about. That we really need to talk about this kinds of things. So that's what this is about. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Repost the live if you can. Send it to somebody. Share it with someone. Let them know what we doing. And hopefully we can run up the numbers. All right? All right.